Hey everybody, welcome to another live trading edition with F45trading.com. I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. Markets are moving pretty good today, actually, finally. Um, we were trapped in this tiny little range in here for a couple of days. This is a US dollar. Trapped in a small range here for Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. We had a nice move, a little bit of nice movement on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday really did absolutely nothing, and then finally we saw that expansion out of that area into today here. So we've just taken out this swing low right here, as you can see, by about 1 pip. Low in this candle comes in at, you can see at the very bottom of my screen, 93.41, and then the low on this candle now is sitting here at I'm going to come up 93.90, so 2 pips that got it by. So nice little sweep. The next area that I'm looking for here is going to be, see these 1, 2, 3 lows right there. That'll be the next area where I believe price will try and run to, and who knows where we go from there. I would imagine we'll probably see some level of support. This small consolidation level in here will probably offer some level of support for the interim. I don't necessarily know that it's going to repel price and it's never going to get through there again. As you can see, we had this nice big bull run up in here, and we could see price want to return back to the highs of this old consolidation level back down here. But we'll deal with that one after it gets through this one here. We'll see what price does. I would imagine, like I say, price will probably just come down, slam into somewhere into this area in here, the 92.80 to 92.90 level, somewhere in around there. We'll probably see a fairly good measurable bounce from there. More than likely, we'll come back up and retest some of the, maybe the lows up into here, or something of that nature. So we'll watch for that. But so far, some very, very nice movement on the US dollar. I'll throw it into here and throw the data dividers on. You can kind of see just about 3 hours ago we finally had price punch through these lows here and really fall off. So I wouldn't necessarily be getting shorts. If you're looking at getting into some movements here, I would maybe just hold off until price comes back up and gives us a little bit of a retracement here. Just because we've had so much movement, and we have obviously achieved a measurable goal here of price running lower than this low here. So we could see price not want to continue yet. They may want to come back up, as I say. Just run down to the 15-minute chart. As you can see here, price came, so that's that old low that I was talking about. Price came down, slammed down 1, 2 pips and rejected a bit. So we could see this start to try to move back up a little bit and balance out this price range in here. If price gets above this high in here, this could be it, honestly, in here. Price gets above this high here. I don't think it'll get all the way back up to this little range in here. As obviously, as I mentioned before, price trades from consolidation to consolidation. So this would be the last one. But I don't necessarily think we're going to see it move all the way back up and then it fall off again. I think we'll probably just have a shallow retrace, and then we may see one more sort of swing lower here. Or this could be it. They could just sit here and just move price sideways from here. So unfortunately, it's kind of one of those things where the move happened a little bit earlier than London Open. So hopefully you guys got a piece of this. So looking at the Euro USD, and I've got a target on here of 1800. So if you guys have seen a few of my videos, this area up here I've been outlining for a very long time now. Price finally has hit it. This is the next level above price, above current price, and that comes in at 1853. So about 100 pips from here. I would imagine we'll probably see price try to stretch to. Whether or not we're going to get to it this week is another story. We've had some fairly nice movement. The Euro USD, I'll just zoom in a little bit. Euro USD was actually consolidated a lot more. So this was Monday's trading, which failed to get out of the last week's, essentially rejection area. Price ran up, ran down, ran up, ran down, ran up, ran back down, and finally today pushed through and taking out these old highs in here. So again, been calling these highs taken out for a while. We got a nice push through an expansion on that, and the high comes in on this candle here. Get it here. Come on. Oh, why? There we go. 117.50, and the high on this guy is 117.76. So about a 15 pip stop run so far on that. Now, again, we may see price want to run out this guy here for the day as sort of a target. We might get that push up into 1,800. I don't know. I can't call it on today. Very, very big day so far. I'll just run down to an hourly chart here, and you can see we're already in the 100 pip range here for the Euro USD. And we haven't seen a big 100 pip range like this since, well, that was a 95 pip day last week. This guy here last week was pretty much 100 pips bang on. So moving a fairly big range today. So I wouldn't expect a lot more action coming on this. I would maybe just hold off a little bit. You don't want to be buying the highs here, and I wouldn't necessarily sell that high either. If you're thinking about counter trading, again, we may get a shallow retrace in here, but I don't necessarily think we're going to see price fall all the way back. I could be wrong. We could see price rebalance all the way back to these old highs. So what we could see is sort of as I would mention on the daily, price has been really chopping sideways, especially the Euro USD, more so than the cable, and I'll get to that in a second. But chopping sideways for about 4 days, and finally we broke through it. So what we could see happen is just sort of a breakout and retest of these old highs in here. So price we could see fall off and then come back down and retrade off of these levels here and then back up again. That would be great if we saw something like that. And then if price failed to get to this 1800 level and we saw price run back down, bounce, then we could see one more measurable move up higher, and that would be that 1850 level there that we could potentially get a run back up to. But hopefully you guys got a piece of that. Again, I didn't offer any signals or anything. It was a little bit of a slow go leading up into it, and then price was in here, and unfortunately I was looking at this and saying, well, you know what, we were 1, 2, 3, 4 times up in this range when price was just slowly pushing its way up in here. We might see a rejection, and I wanted to see price pull back a little bit and try to retrade off of these areas. We didn't get it, and we just saw 2 big straight bull candles, and that was sort of it. And now I'm definitely not buying it up here. So hopefully you guys got a piece of that, but it's a little bit late obviously now. I was going to do a London Open session, but elected to do the New York one just because of some of the news events that were happening. And I'll show you those here right now. I'm just pulling that up. So nothing too big. And to be honest with you, the news from Tuesday and Wednesday were a lot more than what it has been on Thursday here. Just 2 medium impact news events is really all we've got. And that really drove the market here. So, it's actually, sorry, pre-news events. There's only one pound sterling news event that happened at 4:30 a.m. New York time. So really lacking any news injection volatility here today, and you can see prices just kind of screamed up there, and it was a bit of a slow mover into here. Now the one thing that I did notice was cable, and I'll come back to this one here in a second, if we see price start to kind of base out in here, and maybe even off of this high in here at 1750, maybe we could get a little bit of a bounce swing higher, and maybe one more push higher up to that 1790 or 1800 level, which would give us a nice little 40 pip run, something there. So we'll watch for that. We'll come back to that here in a second. But pound dollar, same idea. I was looking for a run above these highs here. Price was, zoom in here a little bit. Price was moving up nicely on the pound. So compared to the euro, you can see the difference. Euro really stuck in a sideways consolidation, especially in here and in here. Whereas the cable has shown none of that, just a nice bullish movement upwards on the cable. And this was the high that I was looking at, price coming through and ripping through from last couple of months ago, I should say. I was going to say last month, it was a couple of months back. And we finally got, excuse me, and we finally got that expansion here today. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sort of lackluster in terms of trading range, and then Thursday finally pushed up through. But that was the target on today. So the target reached. We've got another high rate here that price has just squeaked through right there. And then the next high, obviously, we're looking at this guy right here. And again, I've had this outlined on the chart for quite some time. So that's that 133.60 level that we'll be looking for price to push through. And then ultimately, I'd be looking for a move potentially right above this high here. So depending on how deep we see that swing low on the US dollar, will determine what the expansion is on the cable here. So that's about that. Again, dialing down to a 15-minute, you can see price very explosive on the day. Sitting here chopping arrows, really debating taking a long in here, to be honest with you. You could see what price had done yesterday, and very, very ugly price action in here. But I was looking at this here yesterday through the Asian session and saying, okay, well, they're really basing price right off of these lows here, and they're just had no willingness to get any lower, really. A couple of this big push down here out of nowhere. But really no willingness to close lower than under this 131.25 level here. And I was watching this, and then they came into again the Asian session in here and into here, and they were just really not doing a whole bunch and just kind of slowly ticking it up. I was hoping to see if they wanted to sweep under one more time and retag off that level. We didn't get it. It just sort of price cascaded up higher, and I wasn't in front of the charts rate, and this was the entry rate here for that. I wasn't in front of the charts when they ran into this level here, and you can see here they just bam 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 stacked it up, and they never looked back. One brief retrace in here at these highs, and then just sort of kept running from there. So nice expansion on the cable on the day. 160 pips. We haven't seen a 160 pip mover on the cable in a very, very long time. So it's definitely been due. So nice to finally see it. Look, we had 150 pips there. That's been the biggest day thus far this month. So nice to see them finally starting to get a little bit more volatility and a little bit more price action. But again, don't buy here, guys. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. We could see price yeah, I wouldn't definitely not recommend buying here. We might see price run through a little bit, and we could see it try to challenge this high, but I really doubt it. I mean, 130,300 here. It might push up to 130,300 there. We might get a little bit of movement higher, but I definitely wouldn't push it and start buying up at current location. Again, 160 pips on the cable. That's a pretty big move. So I definitely wouldn't suggest doing a whole bunch here. If we do get a deep retracement, I'd be maybe looking to see if price wanted to run back to this old small consolidation level. If we got to move back down to 32.30 and then a bounce, we could maybe see one more swing higher. But I'd just be very cautious on that one about buying at this current level. And I definitely wouldn't short it here either, because you never know. We could get one more push higher up in to take out these highs here. So be cognizant of that. Euro GBP, not a whole bunch here. I was looking for these two equal highs up here to get run out. They tried to do it in here yesterday and really failed miserably and just cascaded straight down. And that's why we saw so much movement. See this big move down here? That's why we saw such a big push up here in the cable. Just FYI, I am looking for them to move up and take these highs out here. And you can see we just completed a nice price swing lower down into here. So price now sort of working in this range here, as you can see, just swept lower. And we're kind of back into this small consolidation range in here. So what we could see is price bounce off of here, swing up and trying to take out those highs above here. If we do see that move higher on this pair, then we will really start to see the Euro USD start to swing and make that push higher. And we'll probably see it run these highs in here and maybe start getting up back into here. So we'll watch for that, but that's going to be a little ways away, obviously. Plenty of time to set up for that. So just want to kind of talk a little bit. One second, guys. I'm just I want to get into some commodities here and discuss some oil and things of that nature. And I just want to make sure that I've got the current chart up. Okay. So, oil. Let me clean this chart up here a little bit. These didn't, unfortunately, come to fruition. We had a run down here, as you can see, retraded off of this old consolidation level in here, and rejected. You know what? One second. I just want to look here. I'm trying to find Aussie. I'm not sure where my Aussie chart is. There, I've got it. I've got Aussie here in another demo account. Look at the push up here on Aussie. So as this pair here hasn't necessarily been reacting the same as what the U.S. dollar, the opposite of what the U.S. dollar has been doing. You can see this nice big trend down here. This shouldn't have been happening because the U.S. dollar has been doing the same thing, and this should be inversely correlated with the U.S. dollar. So as the U.S. dollar is going down, this should be going up. As you can see here, we're finally getting a brief move up here. And I'll just switch back to the U.S. dollar on the daily and show you what I mean. You see this movement down here? We shouldn't be getting that same movement in the Aussie dollar. So bit of a crack in the symmetry between the two pairs. But you can see now we're finally, just in the past week or two, getting that movement up here. Price created a low, and I'll just run out to a weekly chart so you can see what they wanted to do, what they were gunning for here. You see these two relatively equal lows. Price didn't quite get lower than here on this swing, so maybe I'll just bring it under this one here. You can see what price did. It just punched down 1, 2, and complete rejection. So that's what they were looking for on Aussie. I believe that price swing is now complete, and we'll probably end up seeing the Aussie starting to fall back into line, and we'll probably see much higher prices on Aussie. And the areas that I'd be looking for, you can see it's got a couple of relatively equal highs here. Price just briefly got above this guy here, and then they started cascading this thing down. I think we'll probably see a pretty good push on this, especially if we can see continued weakness on the U.S. dollar. We'll really start to see Aussie move and start to make some distance. Today wasn't a real big range day. We only had, I'll put the day dividers on here. Today we've only seen so far a bit of a weaker movement, about 34, 40 pips on Aussie. 1 second, guys, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Aussie hasn't really seen a big range day today, and average ATR on Aussie would be about anywhere from 70 to 100 pips, somewhere in there. Like, this would be a good range day, this 80 pips in here. And you can see how price came down, slammed down, created a low, came back up, slammed down one more time, created that failure swing, and then expanded off of that. Nice movement in here. So I'll be looking honestly for longs on Aussie for the next little while. So you can basically come through and pretty much buy any swing low. And my eye right now is going right here. Do you see under price right here? Do you see how they've come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and expanded off? If they ever came back down and slammed in here, if they ever come down and slam under here and just want to reject and just trade back off of this old consolidation level in here, I'll be getting all over that for a long. We may not get that, though, because of the bullish nature on this. We could see price just start to run from here, in which case I'd just look for price to basically come back down and just trade right off of these lows. I'm sorry, lows. Right off of these old candle highs in here, and then I'd be looking for longs. So we could actually see that here right now. We could see price come down, and I'd be looking for basically something like this to happen on Aussie, and then to expand higher. So we could get that movement in here. And as a target, let me just look at this here. As a target, we could see these highs in here getting run out. So that would sort of be my first goal. And even this high in here getting taken out. That would be sort of the first swing high. Now, whether or not it happens this week, I doubt it. I believe it'll probably be more into next week that'll get there. Price will probably see just sort of meander around today and tomorrow. And we might make, don't get me wrong, we might make some pretty good moves on it, but I think on the week we'll probably more than likely see this range get hit. And just this old small swing high there at 170.30. I'll push above there, 10, 20 pips, and then we could see a move back down, and that's where you'd get long. So that's probably what we'll end up seeing the week finish off on. And so that's 20. So we're at 72, 78 right now. Move up to 73, maybe 20. So that'd be about 40 pips from now. If we get this move back down into here, price would come in base and at 72.70, call it. A move down, and then I would be buying that, and that'd be a nice 50 pip run. If you could get that between today and tomorrow, that would be a nice swing and a nice little trade to cap off the week. And then, like I said, I'd be looking for any movement back lower to get long on for next week, and a move up into the 73.80 level. So that'd be about 100 pips plus away for Aussie. So just kind of caught my eye. I wanted to talk about that real quick on Aussie for you guys, and for whatever reason I couldn't find it on this chart here. So that's kind of the only reason why I wanted to discuss that. And I guess I could pull up CAD as well too. I've got it right here. Same type of idea. US CAD, we're just waiting for this low here to get taken out today. Price hasn't quite got there yet. It's almost there now. You can see price is pushing. Zoom in here a little bit. You can see price today, how it was moving sideways for the majority of the London Open session. And then finally, price came up into here once, twice, and then sold off nicely. And I would expect a move lower. Again, I would expect a move underneath this this low right here. And probably on the day we may see a move under that low rate there. Maybe. We've seen some pretty good expansion so far Canadian dollar moving down here. You can see 1, 2, 3 straight consecutive down days since Tuesday. So some nice movement on the Canadian dollar. That comes in about 160 pips. Took 3 days to do it, but I would like to see them come down one more time, just under here, under this low, and that's about that 20-30 pip stop swing. Stop run underneath this low here, so we'll see if they have any willingness to get and push through that. But that's sort of what I'm looking at target wise for the rest of today and into tomorrow. I wouldn't be expecting price typically doesn't see Fridays as continuation days. We typically see price retrace on Fridays. So for Canadian dollar, you see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday down day. We'll take out this low today more than likely and maybe challenge this low here. Maybe. Again, it doesn't have to. We could just see price stab through here just briefly, you know, 5 pips or a pip or 2 or whatever, and then retrace. But going into Friday, if you're thinking price is going to continue down, I wouldn't necessarily bank on it. Friday, we do have a lot of Canadian dollar news, so just bear in mind. We do have a lot of Canadian dollar news on Friday, so we could see some volatility happen on it. And we may see a push lower. Like I'm just saying, typically what happens is if you have a week of trading that's just straight down, straight down, straight down, straight down, pretend this is a candle here. You know, it opens up, let's say maybe the candle opens up here on the week. I can get this in here. Friday typically we'll see the low created on Thursday. So we're you know, the low is going to be created somewhere in here, and that would be down here. And then we typically see Friday retrace just a little bit, and then it'll close the week on here. So imagine this is a candle. This is your open, high, low today, and then this is your close in here. More than likely, that's probably what we're going to see on Friday. So I wouldn't expect a ton of continuation normally on a big mover week. However, there is some Canadian dollar news happening tomorrow. We've got CPI news. We've got core retail sales coming out, common CPI, and so it could see a little bit of movement. We could get lower than here. I'm thinking, and maybe if we see enough expansion, I doubt it, but this is my target ultimately, is price getting below these lows here, and that's definitely my target. But I think that would be more reserved for into next week, as that's quite a ways away from where price is currently sitting at 27. You know, 2,700 levels, call it. We'll just put that on the chart here. I had this on the chart. Had this on the chart here for a while, but that's a good, you know, 200 pips away from here. So again, we're not going to see that tomorrow or anything like that, unless something crazy happens. But more than likely, this is going to be maybe next week here. We'll probably see that push lower under these lows here. So that's sort of what I'm banking on the U.S. dollar. So if you want to see some setups, I would even be looking. I kind of like how they came in here and created these highs in here. I like how they kind of generated a little bit of you know, an area of resistance in here. We could see them punch below this low here today, and then into next week they drive price up here, take out these highs, and then rip price back down. And then from there, I'd be looking for them to, like I say, come into that 127 level for next week. So that could be something that's on the menu. We'll watch for that though. But you can see how price this week has just been cascading down. Some nice movement, and I'm looking for continuation to the downside for the for US CAD. So anyway, with that being said, I just want to just talk about some commodities real quickly here, and see we're getting price falling off nicely now. Again, I wouldn't be going long anytime soon here. We could see one more push higher, but I wouldn't bank on it, but just keep an eye on it. Crude oil. I am still bullish on crude oil. There's a little bit of area. See this high right here? I'm looking for them to come above this high, this swing high right here, up to the 72.50 level potentially. This low may get tagged. See this candle right here, this candle low, that low may get tagged as well. I'll just put that on the chart. That comes in at 72, 72.15 thereabouts, 72.10 call it. A move above and into that 72.10, so it's about $1 away from now. And I was looking at this really ugly price action in here. We had a price open up, but closed from yesterday. Nice bullish push up, got above this high here, gap down to open the day, and closed that gap and just sort of did really nothing. And I was looking at this price doing this, and I was looking to see basically if this consolidation level would hold up in here, and it was for a little while. This level in here, this small consolidation area where they're buying up price or working price in here, they were holding off, and I was almost going to take a long in here, and you saw this nice big push up into here. I was watching this happen, and price kept wicking and wicking, and then we saw this big down movement here, and that was I had kind of thought they may want to come back down and rebalance price off of some of these levels here, and I'm obviously glad I waited. And we saw price shoot under this swing low. Actually, sorry. Let me retract that statement. It failed to get lower than that swing low here, and then we saw price push up into here. Now, I'm thinking we may see price hit. I want to see what price does here. If we push through here and close above this level in here, and then we could see price start to finally move higher again. And this was just that sort of swing low, capturing up all the longs and all the stops underneath here and running higher. But if we don't close, then we could see price want to roll over one more time, and I'd be looking for them to come back down and tag off of this consolidation level, and then maybe see a push higher from there. But crude oil so far has had a pretty decent week. Tuesday, Wednesday, we saw some nice expansion higher on crude oil, and I was actually hoping. So this is why I got these levels underneath here. I was hoping, see all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lows that failed to come down. Nice area of support in here. I was actually looking to see. I was watching price as it was doing this on Tuesday because I was going to get long, but I wanted to see them come down and just sweep under, just by a couple of pips, and that's why I had this 68.30 level in here. I wanted to see them come down and sweep price under here and then reject and go higher. And the reason I wanted to see that is because once price does that, basically this right here, they actually did it the day before. You see price come in, wick down, reject, and then bounce higher. That's when you know they're not coming back down. That's it. That's the run higher, and they're not coming back down to this level for anytime soon. And I was hoping they would have done it underneath these lows here just briefly on the Tuesday and expand. We didn't get that, unfortunately. Price just ripped higher from there, and it is what it is. So a little bit of rebalancing going on in here, coming down, re-challenging this low, and we'll probably see expansion higher. Like I say, long term, I'm looking for the 72.50 level, the 72.10 level getting run out, but certainly the swing high here. And then from there, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of comments out there on crude oil, looking for it to return back down to the 50 level. And, there's some comments about it stabilizing in at the 60 level, maybe even punching up to the 80 level. So we'll have to wait and see. Once price gets higher than those levels in there, who knows what we're going to see. We could see it bounce and run lower, or we could see it just push through this level in here. And then this is going to tell what's going to happen. If we start getting through these highs in here, then we could see price really start to take off and start working its way back up to the 80s. Ultimately, I'd love to see that on bullish crude oil, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see how that works out and plays out from current positions. So keep your eye on this one here today. Again, if we don't get expansion higher through these lows in here, see this 1, 2, 3 candle low pattern in here. if we don't see price push higher in through there and start to kind of hold off, then we'll probably see one more push lower, and we could see price trade off of this old high. Let's see if I can get price down there. You know, hate it when it does that. We could see price want to trade back down to this old high here. One of these old highs, basically this this level right here. We could see price want to run down these old highs in here, and then we'll probably see some support gathered in there, and we might see a bounce higher, but it's just kind of all dependent on what price is going to do in here. We're really seeing it push up now, so I'm going to watch this candle here. We might be able to get into a long here in a few minutes and see further expansion higher on the day. I'd be looking for price to run above these highs in here, and then push higher, and maybe potentially take out the high from yesterday as well too, and then we could be seeing the push. So I'm going to watch for that, but we could see rejection in here, so just don't be too overzealous on this and getting into a long yet. Just hold off here for a little bit. So we'll come back to this one here in a few minutes, but just want to discuss a couple other pairs. S&P, big expansion. S&P creating another new high today. Congratulations, S&P. I don't trade that market, Dave does, so if you guys want to trade S&P and everything else, you can catch Dave live on Wednesday and Tuesday. Wednesdays and Fridays. He trades the S&P live, New York Open. He starts right about this time here every day, and so you can take advantage of that. Copper, see a nice movement out of copper. I didn't like to see this Wednesday candle right here, and so that's why I haven't really been talking about it since yesterday. But Tuesday, big, let me put the day dividers on, big push up on Tuesday. This was a massive rejection, huge range on copper on Tuesday, nice to kind of see. I want to see some support gathered here and more continuation to the upside. I think we could see copper really start to move back up, and I'm bullish copper long term. I think we could see a move back above this level here. Long way to go before that ever happens, of course, but in order to get there, we need to break through, see how price really worked this area in here. We need to see price come through and get higher than that area in order to see obviously a movement back up into there, so up into these highs in here. So just keep that in mind. Looking for a bullish move higher on that, and I'd actually like to see them come back down, and you see these old highs in here, you see pretty much right this level right here. See how price worked this level in here and came up and worked that level again, came up and worked it in here, ran it above it, really spent a lot of time at this 264 level, and then came up one more time and pushed through. I'd like to see a return back down to that level. I'd like to see them come back down, gain some support, and bounce. And if I see that happen, that's your entry. That's your long entry. And I want to see a swing high above this high here, and then just every swing high above that start to get knocked out on copper. So I'm bullish copper for the interim. Price had a chance, I believe, down here to swing underneath these lows here. We didn't get that. So if we don't see, if we do see price come down in here, just watch this level. If we do trade lower than this red line here, just be careful. It could want to make one more pass under those equal lows under there. Just bear that in mind. But so far, nice to see on copper, that breakout there. Nothing on cocoa here. We did see price really drive down a little bit lower. Let me get rid of this guy here so you can see that a bit better. See how price smashed down into these old lows, these old highs into here. I want to see if they have any willingness to go a little bit lower, but so far I like that. I like that it's coming back down here to rebalance these areas under here and then expand it up. And it's coming back down. So same type of thing that I just was talking with copper there. These highs in here, I'd like to see if they want to retest those and have any willingness to go higher from there. Now, just be careful on cocoa. They could, if they get through this level here and we don't see a measurable bounce, then they could want to keep punching through and clearing these lows under here. So just be cognizant of that. So you got to wait on that one, unfortunately. And coffee, we're starting to see a nice little move on coffee out of this level. Now, unfortunately, coffee, I was looking at this and I was studying and analyzing it back in through here. I was looking to see if this was going to be a low that was set in. It kind of faked me out a little bit. I didn't take a trade, but price came into here and then came and slammed back down into these old highs right here and really sat here for a while. We didn't see big expansion off of this, unfortunately, and that was kind of the telltale sign that we were going to see further movement lower, and you can see price punch through one more time. So I want to see what price does here. If we have a willingness to get above here, or if it's just going to roll over one more time, but there's a lot of sentiment on the bullish side to coffee here for the next little while, so we'll see what they want to do. And cotton just came under, hit a swing low right here. Probably see further movement downside. This was sort of a bear, a bear flag pattern basically in here, where you saw price run down, and then sort of, not really drawing this very well, but kind of do one of these things in here, and then eventually broke lower, and away we go, off to the races down there. So more than likely, we hit the swing low. We could see a bounce. I'll be watching basically for this to happen, kind of like a breakout retrade and a continuation lower. I wouldn't necessarily think that it's going to trade lower than this area in here. But I'll be watching these old consolidation levels, highs in here, to see if we get any type of bounce. But that could be a target on the short side. But I wouldn't short sell it here. We could see a bounce just because price came in here wicked lower. We could see a bit of a bounce higher, or not. I mean, we could see price just roll over. But I'd like to see if they have any willingness to come back up in here and close some of this range in and then run lower. So just hold off on cotton there for a little bit. Orange juice. Not a whole bunch in here. We got a bit of a reaction off of this level here. Same type of thing with cotton. I'd be looking for lower prices, but I'd like to see if they want to come back in and just trade lower off of that area in there and then come down into here. So we'll see if we get something like that. And that's basically this 51 level in here. 51.30 level, somewhere in there. Maybe not quite that high. 1.50, yeah, somewhere in there. $1.50, see some kind of a rejection up there and some level of resistance up there. We'll see if they want to tag that area back up and then start to push lower. So I'd like to see that anyway, but we'll see how that goes. US dollar, what are we doing? Start to see a little bit of a rejection. Might come back down one more time. Just be careful in here. We could see price start to fall off. One second, guys. I'm just double checking something here. Okay, so that was orange juice. Sugar has made a nice little bounce down here as well too. You can see traded off of these old lows in here and traded softer. I think we're probably going to see lower prices on sugar, and I'd like to see them come back down into this consolidation range in here and see a bit of a bounce. We did see that here, but I think they could come a little bit lower, so I'm going to be watching for that. Today, really not kind of lackluster price action day today. Or, sorry, I should say, price came up and just came right back down. A little bit of a gap under here. So, see this little gap right in there? I'd like to see if they want to come back down to there, and a failure to get lower, and then we could see some kind of a move. So we'll kind of watch for that one there, but nothing really on sugar today. Sorry guys, the market's, it's Thursday, New York. we saw some nice expansion on the Forex pairs. Commodities aren't doing a whole bunch. My eye is really on more so on this crude. We saw price push through there now, so what I'm looking for on here is basically higher prices. So we could even potentially take a trade on this here. I'm looking for price to move up. But I'd like to see if we come down and trade off of this guy here, if we can get an entry here. Now, we may not get it. I'm just looking at the 5-minute here. See how prices come up. Came back down, retraded off of this level here, came back up, smashed into there and rejected. And then 1, 2, 3 candles up, coming into here. We're probably not going to move this deep here. Let's see this old candle high here. Maybe we can get a long in on here. See if price comes back down. Maybe we could get a long there. I don't want to buy it on this candle here. I'd like to see price come back down and see if we can't get off of that candle high, and that comes in at 70.99. So basically 7,100. See if it gives it to us here. That's about it for commodities, guys. I didn't really see... Natural gas has had a nice pop-up, but really natural gas is just kind of... I don't know. I don't love this market right now. I was hoping for more bullish activity starting earlier in the year, and we did see a bit, kind of a weak sort of run up into natural gas, and it kind of came back down. Traded into this consolidation area and expanded back up and failed to get higher than here, and then we kind of traded back down again, and so far it's failed to get underneath this swing low here, so I'm not super bullish on this guy yet, so I'll come back to that one. And Bitcoin is kind of all over the place, as you can see. And look at this candle in here, just basically putting people out on both sides of the market is what they're doing. They came in, ripped underneath here, rejected, it went higher, and so far it's rejected. And I'm not a big Bitcoin fan right now, but I do believe we'll probably see lower prices on it. I think you know my thoughts on that right now, but and that's about it for all those guys that I want to talk about anyway. So kind of watching this crude oil. Let's see what this thing does here. Let's see if we can get just a quick move back down here, and then a potential long. And for a target, as I was saying, I'd be looking at the 7150, 7160 level up here as the target. So lots of room to expand higher on the day. But I don't want to buy it right here. I want to wait and see if we can get it to move back down. And kind of do one of these things here, and just a real quick retrace, and then an expansion. We may not get it, but I definitely don't want to buy it right here. I mean, you certainly could. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like to buy on up candles. I like to buy on down candles, and vice versa. I like to sell on up candles and everything. Come on, come back down. Don't move away on me like that. Come on. No, I don't know that we're going to get it. I don't know that we're going to get it. Oh, here we go. So let's see on this one here. See if price will get down. This is just a demo account. And just so you know, commodity traders, I'm not a licensed commodity trader or anything like that. These are just my trade ideas. If you take this, you take it all at your own risk, and you do your own stuff and your own due diligence and your own research on before you trade. So just for you know, legal reasons, this does not constitute as trade advice. So just because this is a commodity, and there's a lot of advice out there, so I would counsel you to advise with other professionals before you ever decide to trade any live funds. Just so you know, this is a demo account, and there's no live funds ever traded that I'll ever show you guys, so just so you're aware. How's the signal? Oh, and by the way, guys, if you guys ever have any questions or anything like that, I got the chat up here on my left. You can just feel free to shoot me a chat right underneath your open window there. So I don't know if we're gonna get a move much lower than where it's at. So try a position in here and see what we've got. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Give me a little bit lower price in here. So the spread on mine, I've got about a 4-tick spread on mine. I don't know what it is on yours. Let's see if I can get this under 71.20 here. And this is on my feed, obviously. You guys' different feeds are going to differ a little bit, obviously. But let's see if we can get a movement a little bit lower. I'd love to see them come down and tag off of this level here. Love to see that, but I don't know if we're going to get it or not. Now, here, we'll try one in here. See the spread put me up above here. I'm in just underneath that 71.20 level. Price, it always does it. It's always Murphy's Law. As soon as I always enter a trade, it always usually retraces a little bit deeper and actually goes down to the level. But we're seeing some nice expansion in here, so we could see that continue higher. So we'll see how that goes. I would not let price run any lower than 70. I'd say maybe 70, 80. That would kind of be the level where I wouldn't let it go any lower than that. I would, or sorry, 70, 80, 70, 90. I wouldn't let it go any lower than that. I would definitely just be keep your stop tight on it because price could push around a little bit. But like I say, on the daily, so I'm looking for price to come right up into here, this 72 level, and basically just a swing high above this guy. So let me get this level dialed in here. 71.60. And that's just about the high. Sorry, 71.62 on this feed is the high of that. Let me get that in here. 71.62. So I'd be looking for just a quick swing above that. Is the level that I'd be looking at, and that's kind of the target on the day. So we saw price come back down, tag in nicely, and I want to see higher expansion. If we fail to get above yesterday's high, so I'm going to go back down to, where am I here? So you see this here. If we fail to get above yesterday's high here, then we may not. Yeah, see, they should push. Like, it's only Thursday, so we should hit the high of the week. I don't believe Wednesday is going to be the high of the week. But again, watch it. I mean, I don't let price go any lower than that. But I like the I like this area up here. Get a push through the 72.60 level, and just take out that high, and maybe you could squeak it above to maybe a quick 10-pip stop run type of thing. That's sort of the target I'd be looking at on for the rest of the day. So we'll watch for that, see if that comes to fruition and plays out according to plan, and see where we're at. So I could have got a little bit better of a price, but it is what it is. Now it's going to probably come down and get into the entry level that I like. But anyway, so we'll watch for that. That might take a little while to materialize, so you guys can keep an eye on that. Where are we here? US dollar. Just so you guys know, I'm going to wrap this up here. I've been on for about an hour, so you don't need to stick around for much more of this. I went through all the forex pairs I'm going to talk about. I showed you the level. Like I was telling you there on Australian dollar, Really kind of like that that whole idea on there, and just because we've seen some nice movement. You know what, guys? And unfortunately, I just missed it. Hopefully you guys were watching this. Price came right down to that 72 level there that I was talking about. And so far it's doing exactly what I said it was going to do. So we'll see what it wants to do. See if it wants to expand higher than that level in there. But so far so good. I like what Aussie's doing. Nice rejection off of these levels. It's only 12 pips, so it's not like it's a lot, but nice rejection. Nice movement. I'll be looking for this 73.14 level to get tagged. Sorry, 73.14. 73.15 level to get tagged. So hopefully, come on MT4. And probably a run a little bit higher. Borrow this guy here. 73.30, I believe, could be on tap. And that would just sort of take us into these old lows right in here. That could be, I don't know, that's a pretty big expansion. But Aussie was definitely delayed moving higher. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. Interesting. Anyways, to say the least. So that's it, guys. I don't really have anything else to go through. You got the levels that I'm looking for. US dollar making another push lower. Euro USD looking to do the same thing here. So just great ranges on this. We're seeing a bit of a divergence between Euro and Cable here. You can see Cable had a big 160 pip day, as I mentioned. Euro not quite that much. A big range day on the Euro for sure. We're at that 100 pip level, so I wouldn't be expecting a whole ton more movement on the day, but so just be aware of that. But as I say, some nice movement nonetheless. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Don't have much else to talk about. Dave will be back tomorrow at 8 New York Open, Equities Open at 9:30 a.m. New York time. So he'll be doing a live session again. He'll be trading the S&P market and gold. He'll give you his ideas and his thoughts and take any trades that are available for you and go from there. So I hope you guys got something out of the session. I appreciate you joining me here for this past hour, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I will be back live. Well, I'll be doing a pre-recorded session this weekend, as always, and give you some levels for this week. Which, by the way, go back and watch that video and see where price is right now. Because as I mentioned in that live video, I said we're going to see price, see how price was sitting in here. I said we're going to come down and probably swing underneath this low here on the week. And that's exactly what price did on the US dollar. Same thing with the euro. I said, look, 1, 2, 3 X's up here. This has been on my chart for a while, and I said this week is going to be the week they're going to do it, and that's exactly what it finally did. And so all the levels that I had called are all hitting. And the one level I'm waiting for, though, still is this crude oil level. I'm looking for it to get up into this level in here, this 72 level. So I want to see price getting tagged up into there. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. And look, it's going to come down and hit my entry level here. So anyway, lots of fun. But okay, thanks guys. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great Thursday, and we'll catch up to you next week. I'll have a pre-recorded video out by Sunday, and then on Tuesday, London Open, I'll be back to do another live session. I'll post the links up there so you got that, and we'll catch up to you then. Hope you have a great day. Take care.